Making sense. Aisha, I spent money again.
Girl, we always start our podcast with spending. We should rename ourselves to Losing Sense.
Oh my god.
But anyway, let me guess. Is that K-pop album that you've been posting on your Instagram?
How did you know? Oh my god.
I've known you for a year. Plus, you've been posting it on your stories so much.
Wait. Did I just hear K-pop albums? Did I hear it right?
You can't
Yeah.
leave K-Gen out when you speak about K-pop.
Oh,
Yes.
look who's here.
That's right, people. Of course, we have the K-pop experts here with us today, Rachel and Amanda from K Generation Club. Welcome, girls.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So thank you very much for the invitation for today's episode. It feels really nice to be here that we're going to talk about K-pop with Taylor's AKPK. So I'm Rachel and I'm the Vice President of K Generation.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having us and so glad to be here. I'm Amanda, part of the events team in K Generation. And Denise, I'm very sure you'll forget about the guilt of spending money when you receive the album once it
Yes.
arrives in the postage.
Yes, only people with the same problems understand each other.
Yes.
So I guess I'm the only one with not much knowledge about K-pop. So what do K-pop fans spend their money for?
Well, Aisha, that's a very good question because I feel like a lot of people, right, they will think that, okay, we only buy albums, we go to concerts, but actually there's a lot more to it. K-pop companies are actually really good at finding money. They have like a lot of merchandise, and it's not like just one merchandise. That merchandise may have like one version, second version, third version.
Yes.
So we will just keep spending our money on it. And aside from that, there's also like unofficial merchandise by K-pop fans, where like K-pop fans like produce their own goods and all, like dolls, very cute dolls.
Yeah,
and
so cute.
yeah. So yeah, those unofficial merchandise are usually like less expensive. So for those who don't want to like spend like few hundred ringgit on official merchandise, then we will spend on this unofficial merchandise.
Yep, that is right, Rachel. Because purchasing merchandise such as light sticks, membership kits, and the such shows your ultimate loyalty and as well as your support towards a certain K-pop group or idol, which also helps in the boosting of their popularity and hence encourage them to continue their line of work, for the future.
Oh, interesting. Because before this, I only thought like people spent their money on concerts and like albums, but now I only know like you guys also buy stuff from like local artists, which is like really, really interesting lah.
Yeah, we complain about
Knowledge.
capitalism, like, but we still fit in lah. Like, take my money.
Yes.
So like, although I'm not so familiar with like K-pop idols or groups, I just wanted to know, who are your favorite groups?
Okay, if you guys recognize both of these dolls, it's actually EXO. So my favorite boy group is EXO. My favorite
Mm.
ultimate stan is EXO. And for girl groups, I actually stand them all. They're all so
Yes, girls support girls.
good. Yes.
But for me, my favorite ranges depending on comeback seasons. But I have been into BTS, Tomorrow by Together, and only in the recent year, 17.
I saw you bought an album before of 17.
Stalker.
Exposed.
Whoops. So mine are Monster X and The Boys.
Wow. Okay, I've heard of Monster X, EXO, and BTS. Of course, BTS is like really famous. Okay, now back to like the main topic. I'm really curious on how much you guys have spent so far, and how do you keep track of your spending?
I started buying stuff in 2019 because that's when I really got into the fangirling lifestyle. On average, about 700 per year, and I use Google Sheets to keep track of my spending. How about you guys?
Wow. Google Sheets. Okay, that's
Very organized.
another way to, it's so organized. Maybe I should learn also. It's a good way. For me, I started buying around like 2016. So at that age, I was still like quite young at all. So I didn't dare to like spend much. So my method was like I participate a lot in giveaways for like albums, photo cards, and all. And I also buy from like a website called Carousel, where they sell like secondhand albums because it's usually much cheaper compared to if you buy like a sealed album. So my cost wasn't that high. So around from 2016 until now, around like 2000 ringgit. But the most expensive one was like in 2019, where I bought EXO concert ticket for like, I think it was 600 to 700. That was the most expensive.
Very expensive indeed.
Right.
Yeah, like it's up there already in the chart.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Yes, it was.
Of course.
For me, I started buying specific K-pop albums back when it's 2011, mainly Big Bang, VIX, and NU'EST. Since I only buy merch that is to my liking and if my bank account allows it lah. For me, I don't actually often keep track of my spendings. So yeah.
But I think it's about 500 a year for you, which actually is not that much, to be honest. Like, I think it's a good thing that you still remember how much you spend, even though you don't keep track of them.
Yeah. I just see my bank account only.
Just check through sometimes. So just now Rachel mentioned about like EXO tickets, which was like the most expensive thing you bought throughout like your K-pop seasons. So like why did you still want to make that purchase, although it's like expensive?
To be really honest, I have been very, very lucky for giveaways. I have been winning a lot. So I also attended like 7 K-pop concerts for free.
Manifesting your luck.
Come, I give you my luck. So I have been quite lucky. So I actually met EXO twice for free for their concerts. So in 2019, I felt that, okay, in 2020, they're going to military. More members are going to military. So they won't come for concerts anymore. So I felt like, I think I should just buy it instead of like relying my luck on giveaways because there's no guarantees. And what if like I don't get any, then in the end, I'll just be outside the stadium there cheering instead. I don't want that to happen. So I felt like, okay lah, since it's my first concert that I'm going to spend money on, then okay lah, spend. Let's just go. Yeah, that's how I decided to make that purchase.
But I think seeing the pandemic now, I think it's like one of the best purchases you've made.
Yes.
No regrets.
No regrets at all. It was the most satisfying purchase for me.
So like Denise also mentioned in the last episode that K-pop is an investment. So do you guys agree? How is K-pop an investment?
Most definitely yes. And it's not only money investments per se, because to purchase or sell the merchandise online or even face to face, you also need like energy, time, the interests, and motivation investments in order to, you know, be in the K-pop world. Since the K-pop industry itself is constantly evolving and changing over time, and I guess you would always expect the unexpected for when there is a next comeback season.
True.
Throughout the years. Yeah.
That's very true. I totally agree with Amanda. It's like it's not only money investment, it takes so long and so much time for you to actually invest into K-pop. Because I personally saw like a lot of people on Twitter, they tend to have like group orders for each comeback season, and they have to be like unpacking 500 albums and then having to like repost it out again to another address and all. So it's a lot of time and effort, and the reason why that it's like actually an investment is probably because the price doesn't really drop much, and also sometimes they may even have like an increased value, especially if it's like limited edition things, like photo cards or maybe usually it's photo cards that might have increased value. So it's definitely a misconception that buying K-pop related items is just a waste. Sometimes you may even gain more from it. So, and sometimes investments are also like emotional and motivational support for your group.
True. So I really like respect the dedication you guys have towards like supporting your idols. It's really, really like wow. Looking at you guys. So like Rachel mentioned just now, I suppose the market is mainly on Twitter.
Yeah, and also there's also like other platforms like Carousel and Telegram where people usually sell, buy, or even trade items together.
Speaking about selling and trading, another hot topic in the K-pop market recently is that there's like a lot of overpriced photo cards. So what are your thoughts on this?
NCT album photo cards can go up to 3 digits, you know?
Whoa.
3 digits.
Oh my god.
And I think it's insane that there are some people who are willing to buy them regardless of the price.
True.
So
like
for broke people like me, a petition to regulate overpriced photo cards and merchandise, please.
Yes.
Because
oh my gosh.
it's so hard to buy them, especially when they look so good.
That's so expensive, up to 3 digits. I can like buy meal for like a month.
I know,
almost.
right?
You can buy a ton of nasi lemak, you know.
Yeah.
Grab food every day.
Eat for a week. It's more than enough. But sometimes, although photo cards are like expensive and all, but I'm also like I'm also a K-pop.
Yeah.
Here comes the binder.
The holy
like,
binder.
The holy
like
binder.
a lot of.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it takes a lot of time to actually like have this whole thing
Dedication.
together. Yeah, it takes a lot of money also. But to be honest, 3 digit is too much for me. Maximum, I already feel like 50 ringgit is already too much, to be honest. My range is around like 20 to 30 ringgit, which is actually quite low, but it's actually just a very small photo card. So it's really expensive. And I feel like over the years, ever since I entered like the K-pop whole thing, the whole K-pop thing, I realized that the photo cards prices are just like increasing. It's just having like inflation in price over the years. And to be honest, I think it will just keep rising because since there's a willing buyer and a seller there, why would it even reduce, right? So
give like profit low.
Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Pokemon it's exactly
like
that.
Rachel, you can actually like pass down your photo card book to like your younger generation.
Yeah.
The price is like
it's
gonna go up in the future. Yes.
You can laminate it.
Yeah.
The legends.
So like since the buying and like the selling all can be like all through online only now, how do people like avoid scam? Because right now people can just like scam you easily, especially like online.
Yeah.
Correct.
Very true.
I think to avoid scam, you can, for me, I heavily rely on a lot of the 5-star ratings, like on the shops itself, especially in Shopee or Carousel, since like my details and my money is securely governed by those applications systems. But for those on Twitter, I often check the seller's posts and their activity as well as their followers to see if they are, legit lah, if it's real or not, and as well as their interactions with me as a buyer, and in like see if there is any rude or desperate languages involved.
True.
But I would say it is with utmost and sincere warning that people who are interested to buy merchandise online, avoid WhatsApp transitions.
Take note, guys.
This is a sincere warning because those are 100% scammers based on true story, personal story. So I think the best way is to research your trusted shops and accounts, maybe through friends or research online. And never give out your personal information unless your order has been confirmed with a receipt proof lah, so that you at least know, okay, this is real. Okay, I'm getting this from a true seller, and you won't get scammed.
Yeah, true. Usually I just buy from like my mutual friends or those with like proof reviews, because they usually have like hashtags like reviews or feedback. So through that you can actually get like legit stores lah. And I think it's also better to ask for photo proofs before doing your transaction, for like close-up shots of like the product, to avoid receiving like fake products or like faulty products.
Yeah, that's very true. But how do you guys even like control your buying? It's so tempting to buy everything, you know?
Exactly. Like, I think one thing everyone should keep in mind is that the buy now, regret later concept is very, very dangerous. It's like very tempting.
Exactly.
Guilty as charged. Because I often control my spending urges by having at least someone, mainly my parents lah, to monitor my spendings and evaluate if the spending is actually worth it or not. Because it's either I buy the merch and get lesser monthly allowance then, or I don't buy it at all for that season. And I guess this might sound a bit weird lah, but I would ask my close friends to tell me that some merch is worth buying or not. And they would have to list down like every disadvantages if I were to get the merch. So basically it's having me debate whether I should make the purchase or save my spendings for something else that is worthwhile lah.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
That's like a funny way to do it.
Yes, it's a bit weird, but that's how I roll.
It's actually really good.
Yeah. So I usually just think like how much I can get back if I were to sell the stuff, because when something new comes out, I can just sell what I had to get the new stuff. Yeah.
That's a very smart way.
Yes, big brain. So, any tips for people who just got into K-pop, like the K-pop newbies?
One most important thing is don't feel like you're late to the party, because you're never too late, and there are a lot of very, very kind fans, not only in Malaysia, throughout the world, everywhere, that will help you and support you for joining in the fandom. And also they might even provide you with like a guide through orientation for that K-pop idol, so that you know better what is that, who is that K-pop idol, what do they like, and etc. And so don't worry about all of this entering K-pop, even if you're new. It's totally fine. It just takes a little bit time. But when it comes to spending, I think one advice would be you should set a limit every month for yourself, so that you know like, okay, how much I want to spend in a month, 200, 100, or even if you're very rich, 1,000. I hope I can do that, but
wow.
I can't.
That's the dream.
Yeah, that's our dream. So setting a limit for you will also help you, like just in case you spend 2,000 ringgit a month, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And also for those who are new, I think it's also important for you to like know what kind of merchandise that you like and you feel like you won't regret, so that you won't buy too many like unnecessary merchandise and then you regret. You just put it there and not use it. So that's one of my advice.
For me, if you feel like you don't have self-control, just don't buy at all. If you start buying, you'll get addicted.
Yes.
For sure.
Good advice.
Real.
Okay, so one more question that I have is that how do you guys go from like, I'm going to support this group, like I really, really want to support this group, because I see different groups in the industry and there are so many like new groups like what Amanda mentioned earlier. So how do you like actually say you want to support this one group?
For me, I've been standing various groups on and off for over 10 years. So in my mindset, one ultimate loyalty towards one group, especially in this broad K-pop industry, definitely does not exist in my vocabulary. Because one thing, you might love one group at first. You find it, wow, this is like the best of the best. But once you come across another group's content, let's say you stumble upon it on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatnot, and it just hits you. It's like, yeah. So, and the next thing you know, you'll be researching and watching their content until like 3 a.m.
Yeah, definitely can relate to that.
Confirm.
Yeah, I mean, it's that thing. But I think what catches my attention is their songs and live performances, especially those that send me into an emotional wreck after watching them. Like, because my bias for 4 years was BTS Jin. And suddenly I see 17's Vernon fan cam with Twice Jonghyun for 2016's Gayo Dajeon. And the next thing, poof, I am a carrot and a once. So there is no one group. There is many groups.
So cute lah. I love like how passionate you are about the groups that you stand.
Yeah, because every one of them is good as well. I mean,
yeah, I think we can go on and on and on about this, but Aisha, sadly, it's time to say goodbye. So in conclusion,
we'll continue off camera.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think in conclusion, like the whole spending is like self-control and budgeting lah. You know, like even if it's not K-pop, like any other stuff, it's just self-control and budget.
Right. Yes, definitely.
Yep. So thank you so much again to Rachel and Amanda from KGen. It was really, really nice chatting with you guys, although I'm like a baby when it comes to the K-pop stuff.
It's still so cool. Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So don't forget to follow us on Instagram at tailors.akpk and at kgentailors.
Yes, that's right. And also don't forget to join us on E-Clubs and Societies Day on this 20th August. Yes. So signing off, Making Sense, Denise.
And Aisha. Bye guys.
Bye.